Welcome to Knit Together with Kim and Jonna. I'm Jonna.
And I'm Kim.
And we're back in our favorite local yarn shop, Pick Up Every Stitch in Mount Kisco, New York.
Yes.
That sounds like a commercial.
It does.
I so did not mean that.
That's so funny. That's okay. Doesn't it feel like forever since we filmed the previous episode? But it really is only a month.
I know, because we're actually a little bit early.
We are a little bit early. You'll be viewing this in January, so Happy New Year. But it's before Christmas because we do not want to have to film or work, between Christmas and New Year's.
However, we are doing Vlogmas this year. And, we're complete newbies. I had to explain to you what Vlogmas was because you'd never watched any Vlogmas videos.
Yeah, our first day was a little
rough.
Someone asked and Ask Us Anything, which we are going to record. Maybe. Maybe December, but we might do it in January. Who knows? But probably December. But someone asked, do you ever get in fights or do you ever hate each other a little bit? I can say I never hate Jonna.
It was hate in quotation marks.
Yes. But we're two different people, and we've never done Vlogmas.
No.
We have had two different, just preconceived ideas of what we wanted it to be or look like. And so that first day when I was editing the first footage, well, can you, should we do this? It was really funny.
Oh my gosh. But you have taken the ball and rolled with it.
Right. Once I got it, I understood what we were doing.
But I've just really loved the process.
It's been really fun.
Yeah. I have just loved just sharing our lives, I guess, and just it being a little bit more casual. I guess I like that.
Yeah.
And being more in the moment and maybe not talking about knitting as much and just other stuff that's in our lives. So I don't know. I've really enjoyed it, and you've done such a fantastic job of editing. And
I thought it would be really overwhelming, the editing and everything, and even the filming. But we're doing, some people do 20, 30-minute Vlogmases every day, but we're just doing 5 to 10 minutes, basically. So one is 3 minutes, and maybe one is 12 minutes,
And she told me, I have to, hold back. No captions. I'm not going to insert a photo. I'm like, no, that's, it just should be very dogma style, which is,
Yes, and I do think when I'm editing, this would be a great place for a photo. But all of that takes time.
It
and
does.
That's not what it's about.
No.
Our episodes and our mini-sodes are more informative and I don't want to say educational, but just explaining our process. But this is just like what we did today, or yesterday or the day before. So I'm really...
What's been your favorite moment so far of Vlogmas?
What's my favorite? I love reading the comments. I really love... I think my very, very favorite Vlogmas video is you making gingerbread cookies with your grandchildren.
I was going to say my favorite part has been Max, my grandson, that he's 2, and he starts a little flour, a little more flour, and then let's just dump the bowl out, and then let's start throwing the flour. And it was adorable.
Yeah, when I was editing it, there was a lot more footage, obviously, but I just picked out the progression of it's nice and quiet with Jonna, rolling.
Because they were jumping on the trampoline in the backyard, so I was kind of doing that on my own.
Yeah, it was nice and quiet, and then one grandchild came in, and then another one came in, and they're helping, and then when it just ended with the flour throwing, I thought every mom and grandma and whoever in the universe is going to relate to this video.
Yeah, they just loved it. And I have to say, that was gluten-free gingerbread dough, and it was fantastic.
It's so cool.
It rolled out smoothly. I didn't love the way it tasted. It was really intensely molassesy, but with enough frosting.
That's good.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
So, anyway, that was fun.
So that was fun. And so obviously you were in Texas.
I was.
Yeah.
Just right after Thanksgiving, we went to Texas, and we went there because we had some house stuff to deal with, so that was the main reason for going. And then to see our grandchildren, of course, and spend some time with them. And my son and his new wife and their little girl came over and announced that they're expecting. So that was exciting. We knew that they were hoping. So yeah, it was really exciting.
That is so
It's
cool.
really mind blowing when your youngest, your baby, is having a baby. I'm still.
Now he's a stepfather. Right
he
now,
is to their 6-year-old.
She's adorable.
Right, so this will be their first baby together.
That's so sweet. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also visited, my mom lives in a retirement home, and she had asked me to come and help or just have like a knitting group, I guess, because she knew that some of the residents already knitted, but maybe there might be people who would want to learn to knit. But it was hard. I was a little disappointed because I really didn't teach anybody how to knit. I did my best, but we cast it on and we were going to make little Christmas trees, and I brought needles and little goodies and some yarn, and we had a nice chat though. It was fun. There were about 6 women, and 2 of them were very proficient knitters and cast it on and got started right away on their Christmas trees, and 2 others were very inspired to learn, so they were going to watch videos or whatever. So,
that's great.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's really fun.
Oh, and of course there were yarn shops involved. So I went to On the Lamb, which is in Grapevine, Texas, and I'd been there once before, and I think she must have expanded because the shop is much bigger. I think I'm remembering that correctly. And she had some interesting yarns that I'd never seen before, and I asked the owner, and her name escapes me at the moment, how does living in Texas influence the yarn that you buy, Right. Because, you're not going to buy a lot of Letlopi or, Icelandic wool.
You're not going to have a deep, heavy winter.
No. So she had a lot of alpaca cotton blends and a lot of cotton blends blended with other fibers. So, yeah, that was fun. The girls came with me and came around and oohed and awed. They both knit, so that was fun.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to sit down and knit together? I know we had one picture for Vlogmas of you with Emily knitting.
Emily. So in one of our previous videos called is it called Your First Sweater?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Something about your first sweater.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that my daughter had casted on the Novice sweater by Petite Knit. And she forgot to mark in her pattern where she was. So I needed to take a look at it and see where she was in the pattern. And it's a fantastic pattern because it's a circular yoke. So it's easy to see where the increases are.
Right.
So it says, knit X number of inches and do a round of increases and then another couple of inches and a round of increases. So it was easy to find out where she was. So I got her started again, and she's just about to split for the sleeves.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And she's just loving it.
That's
she's
awesome.
Just like, I get kind of embarrassed. I don't know about you, but when someone says, I don't think anyone ever thinks that we've made our garments. But she said, I'm going to walk into a room and I'm going to say, I made this.
That's what I do, but you don't.
I don't. Oh my gosh. I was like, you go, girl. I just thought that was so funny. I just can't imagine someone walking into a room and saying, I made my sweater. Sorry.
Well, maybe I wouldn't say it like that.
No, it was so
But Elise, my friend Elise is the same way. She'll wear hand knits, and she's she's the sewist, and she makes costumes and everything. She works in a costume shop, so they're using their hands all the time.
Yeah.
And actually, her previous costume shop, nobody ever asked. And even if she did once get up the courage to say, I made this, they just barely even said anything. But her new costume shop, she's now at Juilliard in the costume shop, and they just ooh and ah over everything she makes. So she doesn't even have to say she made it. They just say, oh, did you make that?
My husband will say, she made that.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it hard, though, when you come back from seeing your grandchildren, then you miss them more, your children and grandchildren?
They always say they're going to email and they're going to text message, and then they don't. But
I know, it's hard. Life is so busy.
It's fun, though. We play Words with Friends. We play the Wordle every day, which is the New York Times, one of the New York Times puzzles, and we email our results or whatever,
your score,
our score, whatever, back and forth. So that's fun. They're getting older, where we can communicate, digitally a little bit better. And he actually has his timer set at home to FaceTime me every day at 4:20.
Who is this?
William.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, he's the oldest. So he will. We have these like Alexa devices that have the video screen. So he'll call me at 4:20 every day.
That's so cute. Yeah. I love that.
That's cute.
That's awesome.
They had a tornado.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday morning. They had a tornado in their neighborhood, and I think I mentioned before that we built a house on the street where Emily lives. And the house next to the house that we built actually had a few trees uprooted and fall into their house. So, yeah, that was crazy. I mean, they had to do the whole hiding in the closet thing. Yeah. Anyway,
Scary.
everybody's okay, but yeah, just a little bit messy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did want to mention, though, that everything we talk about is in the show notes below this video, including what the mannequins are wearing, including what we're wearing. And there's also timestamps so that you can fast forward to whatever section you want to watch.
If you want to pass by all of our chit-chat.
Right. So we're going to talk about what we're wearing, finished objects, works in progress, kind of acquisitions, and standard format. So anyway.
So it was, you left November 30th, right? But I had mentioned that Thanksgiving weekend I was going away, which was the weekend before that.
Right.
And I went to the North Fork of Long Island. And normally my husband and I, when we do a weekend getaway, we go up north into the Adirondacks or the Catskills. But I think I said at New York Sheep and Wool, when I visited the booth for Long Island Yarn and Farm, that they said they were having this holiday open house, and it was on Sunday, November 27th. And so when I was thinking about us going away, I thought, oh my goodness, because we've never gone out to the North Fork of Long Island.
Oh, really?
And so I thought, I wonder where that farm is. And so that's what we did. We went out there. It was so cool. We stayed at Soundview Inn or hotel, and it's right on the water, and it was beautiful and
the beach
lovely.
is just as beautiful in the winter as it is.
Yeah, and the waves were crashing. I mean, the first night I kept telling George, can we turn the sound off? Normally I like stuff like that, but it was really windy, and it was really, it's really right outside your deck door, your sliding door, and it was a little disconcerting, but it's beautiful. It was really nice. There's a beautiful restaurant right there in the hotel, so that's nice.
Did you have escargot?
Did I when we were there?
I feel like you did.
I did. Yes, I did. That's right. That was at the French restaurant we went to. Okay. But we just, laid low. It turns out I wanted to be able to edit episode 13 before I left, but just, it was busy. It was Thanksgiving and everything, so I wasn't able to. So what I decided to do is I brought everything with me. And my husband, he has a very intense job, so I love to let him, when we go away, sleep as long as he wants. So while he was sleeping in, I got up at 6 a.m. and edited. So with a combination of, we went there Friday, so with a combination of Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and I did a little bit Sunday evening, I was able to finish editing episode 13. But besides that, we walked around. The hotel is in Greenport. We walked around Greenport and ate at a few different restaurants there. But the two things I definitely wanted to do was go to, there's a yarn shop nearby in Mattituck, and right now it's called Altman's Needle Arts, but it was recently purchased in October by Karen, and she is going to rebrand and rename it. And I think it's going, if the receipt, I did buy something, the receipt says North Fork Fiber Arts, so I think that's what it will be called, but it's on Love Lane. Is that the cutest street name?
Yeah.
Love, I think it was Love Lane. And so I went in there. Karen is so sweet and adorable, and Mary Alice was there. Mary Alice works there, and she was knitting the pressed flowers cardigan. Oh. So it was the first time I really got to touch one. It was really beautiful and squishy. And then Lindsay, who works there, was on vacation that day or that week, whatever. So I didn't get to meet Lindsay, but it was lovely. It's a lovely store. I'll tell you what I purchased and when we talk about that. But what was really cool is I like to get local advice on where to eat and what to do. And so one of our viewers on Instagram, her name is North Fork Cozy. Wow. So I thought to myself before I left, I wonder if there's another North Fork, but maybe she lives on Long Island. So I messaged her on Instagram, and she does. We ended up exchanging phone numbers, and we communicated. She and her husband gave us so many suggestions for restaurants. Good. And I told her, of course, I would love to meet her. So when I was heading, I told her my basic schedule, that Saturday I was going to go to Altman's Needle Arts, and then Sunday I was going to go to the Long Island Yarn and Farm event. And so I kept telling her, okay, we're probably going to be there in the afternoon. And so she met me there. She met us there. It was so sweet. So, hi, Maureen. It was really, really nice. And I was so surprised. She brought me a present.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that the sweetest thing?
So nice.
I was so surprised. So, yeah, she had this little gift bag, and in it was this And it was so funny because I was looking at dish towels.
Right.
Yeah. So it says the North Fork, and Mattatuck is where the store was. Yeah. Greenport is where I stayed. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. It's nice to get a dishcloth when you travel.
Yeah. Yeah. And I never have before, but for some reason I was looking at them in another store, and she walked in with one. So thank you, Maureen. This is just... I haven't used it yet because I wanted to show it on the channel. I don't want it to have big stains on it. But I absolutely love it. Thank you. That was really sweet. I mean, and she is adorable and so sweet. And I was so happy I got to meet her. And what else? Okay, so then I did go to Long Island Yarn and Farm. And it was just really wonderful. It was supposed to rain that day. So we... went earlier in the day, and luckily the rain held off, but we got to see they have mostly, okay, let me get it right, llamas, not alpacas. They have mostly llamas, and they have sheep and goats and a little bunny rabbit, like Angora bunnies, and I have pictures of a bunch of them. Maybe I'll insert some.
Oh, yeah.
But it was really fun, and they had like they had a barn set up with decorations. They had some women demonstrating spinning. And I did buy something there, but it's a secret. I can't tell what it is. And but it was just really lovely. And Tabitha, the owner, is just this amazing bundle of energy, and she's just you can tell she loves her animals so much. You can just tell. They're so well cared for. The farm is so clean, and it's so cute. We stayed long enough to do half of the farm tour. We missed the first one. And so we got to this one pen, and the two alpacas were on the far side, and she calls them by name, and they run over. It was the cutest thing. Cute. And, it was really, really lovely. So that was it, and it was just fun, and I'm so glad we got to do it, and it was the perfect relaxing weekend. And we actually decided, we drove out, I can't remember what bridge we went over, and drove out the LIE, which is the Long Island Expressway. And then on the way home, we looked up ferries, because there are ferries, and we decided to take the Orient Ferry, the Orient Point Ferry, over to, where does it go to?
New London.
Yes. And that was just really a lovely ride, and then driving back on the Merritt and in Connecticut was nice, so it was fun. But that's it. So, that was fun. Any other stuff? I guess we can talk about everything else later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get into the meat and potatoes. I guess, we have a little bit of time. Maybe I'll just mention, we did do, my favorite thing in episode 13 was Marina Storm, new designer over in Europe. And if you commented on her Encanto pattern, then you were in a drawing to win a free pattern of hers. And the winner was Beth. Beth already knows, but we're so excited that Beth won. And so congratulations, Beth. I can't wait to see what you knit. And Marina was just so grateful and excited, and she's just lovely. Any other little things? Also by now we would have already done a giveaway of a Two Sheeps calendar. Last year we gave away a Two Sheeps calendar, but we gave it away a little bit late, right? We got it after January. So now we want to give this away before January. You're seeing this in January, so by now it's given away and shipped. But we are going to give it away in a Vlogmas episode. So you'll find out later who won, but it's
so every month they feature
local. They actually relocated to Santa Fe, New Mexico. So this year they're focusing on the Western United States farms. And we'll explain more in the vlog. We did already explain more in the Vlogmas video, but it also, along with it, you can buy the yarn and the designs on the first day of the month or something like that.
And afterwards.
Yes, and
just not before.
Right. So anyway, thank you, Two Sheeps. Lisa and, is it Maria, I think, are the owners? Thank you so much for sending us. They did send us 2 calendars, so we could potentially give away 2. But
okay.
We'll decide. But yeah, so that's it for the miscellaneous. Oh, one more thing.
Do we have time?
I think so. Let me see. Yes, we have a second. One more thing. I haven't really talked about my Kaleidoscope sweater much here because I wore it once, I guess. But it was the very first actual sweater I ever knit for myself. A viewer has seen my Kaleidoscope sweater and called the shop here and ordered the yarn. And so Rhonda Frank, thank you so much. I can't wait to see yours. Please, if you're on Instagram, tag us so we can see your Kaleidoscope as it progresses. I can't wait to see what colors you chose, because when a sweater is designed, certain yarns and colors are chosen, but they can be discontinued. Even mine, I had to switch out a couple of yarns. So we can't wait to see it. So Rhonda Frank, thank you so much for buying your yarn, and we really can't wait to see your Kaleidoscope sweater. So anyway, what's next?
What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? Do you want me to? I just talked a lot. You go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I am wearing my Hoarfrost shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I have to say, I didn't know what I was doing when I made this, when I cast it on, but I absolutely love it. So I'm thanking my past self for choosing this pattern. So this was the very first, well, besides that practice little capelet that I made with straight needles, which was technically my first knitted garment, but this was my first. I bought the pattern, you know, I went to the yarn shop, I bought yarn, and I bought this pattern because it was charted, but it was also written out line by line, and it didn't require stitch markers, and for some reason I thought, oh, stitch markers, that sounds scary. I don't want anything to do with stitch markers, so okay. And then it begins by cast on 3 stitches, and I was like, oh,
I could do that.
I could do that. How hard could it be? So anyway, it just grew and grew and grew. And the funny story about this is that I didn't know how, I was Eastern purling, but knitting.
But you didn't realize it.
I didn't realize it.
You thought you were just...
Right, but I wasn't knitting through the back loop, so all of my stitches are twisted in most of the shawl. And then I couldn't, once I learned, so I set this down for a long time.
Once you realized.
Yeah, and you were like, you just have to finish that.
It's so beautiful.
So I'm so glad that you told me just finish it, even though I finished it by purling the Continental.
Right, we were thinking, like, should you finish by continuing with the way you were purling before?
And I just couldn't. Like, my muscle memory just wouldn't let me do it. So honestly, I don't think you can tell. And let's see, I made this out of Barocco Ultra Alpaca, I think it's called. It's a naturally, I don't think it's dyed, natural Ultra Alpaca, I think it's called, on a size 8 needle, so it went fairly quickly. And I actually brought this with me on a trip to Paris, and this was back in the day when if I made a mistake, everything came to a halt, because I, number one, couldn't read my knitting, number two, because I couldn't read my knitting, I didn't know how to fix anything. And I did learn the value of lifelines when I started doing the lace section. It saved me definitely a few times. So anyway, I'm really proud of it, and I do wear it.
Why don't you mention what a lifeline is? Because honestly, I had never heard of one until I talked to you about knitting. Because again, way back when we didn't. I don't even know if people use lifelines 30 plus years ago. So,
right.
But you learned so much so fast. You know way more about knitting than I do, and you've been knitting so much a shorter amount of time. But so, what is a lifeline?
So now I know that the ChowGoo needles have a little extra hole where you can thread a piece of like embroidery floss, or
that's what that's for?
That's what that's for. So then as you knit, the lifeline is inserted into that row of knitting, so that after that, if you make a mistake, you can rip back into that lifeline, put your stitches back on the needle, and you know that you are good to go from that point.
It's especially good with lace work.
Yes, lace work is notoriously hard to go back and read your knitting.
Yes,
and be making increases and decreases and yarn overs, and so I did use a lifeline in this, and I was very glad that I did. Now I do kind of live on the edge now, and I rarely use a lifeline. But if I was, like when I make that red cashmere camisole,
yes,
I'm going to use a lifeline because yeah.
I mean, I would too.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Cool.
That's my Hoarfrost shawl, and I had to look up what exactly Hoarfrost was, and it's that hairy sort of ice that forms on plants when it's cold, and any kind of stationary object when there's enough water vapor in the air. And the hoar is a Old English word meaning like
H-O-A-R.
H-O-A-R. It looks old. So it kind of looks like an old man's beard.
Oh, wow.
The ice. So anyway. So I absolutely loved it, and I highly recommend the pattern. And it's an asymmetrical triangle, which is a little challenging to wear. So honestly, I just wear it over my shoulders at home, for warmth. But if I'm going out, I do sometimes use a shawl pin or, tie it. Mm-hmm. So
it always looks so elegant when you wear it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so what am I wearing? I'm finally wearing this where I can actually talk about it, because sometimes I'm wearing it in mini-sodes, but we don't talk about what we're wearing.
Right.
This is my Meadow Moon by Jennifer Steingass, and this pattern was released in 2020 because I remember this shop was already closed for COVID, but people could shop from their car. And so I saw this pattern release, and I sent it to Felicia, and I said, I want to knit that. And so she said, of course I couldn't come in the shop and look for things. And her first question, I think, was what did she ask me?
Do you want high contrast or low contrast?
High contrast or low.
Right.
And I said low, obviously. And so she picked out a couple of options, but this was her first choice. And I just saw the yarns and just immediately knew that I wanted to do it. So the main yarn is Haynes House yarn, Bare Feet Sock, and this colorway is called I See Blue Dots, because there's blue dots. There you go. And then the color work is in this Edo Kinu, 100% silk. So they're completely different fiber content, completely different feel to them. I don't even know if they're a different weight, technically. Oh, Pearl's coming to say hi.
Now, did you hold the mohair throughout?
Yes. So that's the thing.
Okay.
And then I held the blue mohair. It's Isair silk mohair. I held the blue mohair with both. And that just kind of...
I feel like it made this bluer.
Yes.
So it...
Yeah, made that bluer, and then made this obviously bluer, and so it just, I love it so much.
I remember you said you wanted something that looked good with jeans.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like a glamorous sweatshirt.
Right.
A warm, cozy, glamorous sweatshirt.
Beautiful.
And that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
And as soon as I put it on, recently, because it has, now that it's sweater weather, I'm just loving wearing it.
Did you enjoy knitting it?
I did, and it went really. And I think I knitted it in 2 months. Okay. And back then, I was definitely a monogamous knitter. I only knitted one thing at a time. So, I knit it in 2 months, and so I made the 6th size. There's many sizes, and which was supposed to be a 49 3/4 inch finished bust, and mine ended up with 49 1/2.
Wow!
So yeah, I did gauge swatch, by the way. This, and listen to this, the suggested needle size was 3, 4, and 5, and I used 6, 7, and 8.
Wow.
Yeah. So
tight knitter.
I am a tight knitter. But again, I got gauge with those.
Right. And the fabric is nice.
It's just so lovely.
And I love the cast on edge is just
the raw edge.
The raw edge.
Yep. But the body I knitted, it's 13 3/4 inches. I don't remember what it was supposed to be, and the sleeve is 19 1/4 inches, and I absolutely love it. And it's one of my favorite sweaters. It's so easy to just grab it and throw it on.
Right, it's easy to wear.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's it. My Meadow Moon.
Okay.
By Jennifer Steingass. I love it. Okay.
All right.
What's next?
Finished objects?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so I have 2 finished objects, and I have neither of them with me.
That's okay. Get pictures.
So yeah, we'll insert pictures. I made my 7th Oslo hat out of this Pascuali Tibetan yarn that I absolutely love. It's 70% virgin wool, 30% yak, super soft, and this is the color navy. So this is the color I used, and I put a pom-pom on it, of course, and I knit it exactly to pattern. I think the 2nd size, which is a youth women's, I think is the size. So I really enjoy knitting this hat. It's just an easy knit in the round. You can use circular needles right off the bat. So I use a 16-inch circular needle on a size 4, US size 4. And you just knit. And then do the decreases and you're done. And it has this triple brim. So you fold the brim up and do, every time I say this, I goof, but you take the stitch on your needle and you pick up a stitch from the cast on edge and knit them together. And it just produces this beautiful seamless seamless seam. And then, so that brim is then folded up. So you have triple layer on your ears. So I wore it this morning to walk my dog. And it was 30 degrees outside and it was cold, but my head was not cold, so it was nice. And I do think that the mohair definitely adds some wind-breaking qualities to it. So the mohair is definitely, it's decorative, but it's definitely functional too. So I did not hold mohair with this one, but this one was for my daughter Laura for Christmas. But of course, I couldn't wait, so I gave it to her already. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to say because I have made 7 of them, so and several in the last episode. So I'm not going to talk about it in depth because in our last episode, I think I had made 3 of them. So I talked a little bit about the pattern, about some issues that people have with the pattern, and and a little bit more in depth about the construction. So
cool. So go back and watch episode 13 if you want more details. Cool.
And I forgot to tell you, my neighbor who I made the aubergine one for texted me today and said, my mom loves my hat.
Oh, wow.
Would you consider making one for her? So I said I would.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just love that project. It's a great travel knit, but this is an even better travel knit, so I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. So,
yeah. So I wasn't going to have any finished objects, but it ended up that I have 2. Yes, I do. I know. Jonna doesn't even know about one of them.
No.
But hearing about all of Jonna's hats, I've gotten excited about knitting hats. And again, we're filming this before Christmas. So I thought, let me knit some hats for people for Christmas. And I thought, what would be the quickest and fastest, easiest hat? And I thought of that Monster Cables Beanie. By Cali Taylor. Yes. And so I bought the pattern, and we talk about this in a Vlogmas, but we were supposed to film this yesterday, and something came up, and Jonna couldn't make it at the last minute. So I decided to come here anyway in case she was able to make it, and I walked in here then with no plan, right? I was supposed to be filming, and I had in the back of my head that I wanted to knit some hats quickly. So then we're not shooting, and I just started looking at the super bulky yarn and just went bananas.
Yeah.
So
I was like, you did what?
So basically, specifically, there was this one that I definitely wanted to knit for a woman in my town who has recently found out that she had a reoccurrence of cancer, and she's just the most lovely woman. And I saw her at a restaurant recently, and I asked if she needs anything, and then I just thought, let me knit her a hat. So I said, because I was thinking of the Monster Beanie hat, the Monster Cables Beanie hat. And so she said pink, and I kind of knew that. She drives a pink beetle. But I bought the yarn yesterday. I bought this, and this is Galler Yarns Super B for bulky, I'm sure, 100% super fine merino. And I cast on last night after I went out to dinner with my husband, and here's the hat.
Wow.
I finished it this morning. I made many mistakes. I had to go back. I had some cables twisting the wrong way. It was late. It was after dinner, and I had a glass of wine or maybe 2.
So you fixed the mistakes?
I did. I fixed the mistakes. Yeah. It smells so woolly. It's still wet because I have to say it was hard on my hands.
Right.
The big needles
and the small circumference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the cabling, it was hard. My hands are sore. They hurt today.
How did you do the cables?
I used a smaller diameter circular needle and just put. It's easier to get in.
That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
So I have like
a 16-inch, short one.
Yeah.
And but I'm a tight knitter. I did not do a gauge swatch, so it besides the fact that the fabric felt really firm, it felt like it was small. So I blocked it because I want to see if it softens up. It's, like I said, still wet, and if it maybe grows a little bit. So if it doesn't, I'm sure I know somebody with a small head I can give this to, and then I can just knit her another one and just go up a needle size. Yeah. It was suggested to, the suggested needle size is 11 and 15, and that's what I used. 11 for the, did you go down for your brim, 11 for the ribbing, and 15 for the rest of it. So I would do 13 and 17.
Right.
But then it's such a big difference, though, in needle size. Like, once you get that big, it's a big difference.
Big difference.
So then I'm worried it's going to be way too big. And I'm sure every yarn, so I will insert a picture now. I didn't just buy this yarn. I bought 9 different yarn. 8 of them are for monster cable beanies. Yeah. And 2 of them are kind of I thought of certain people, but the others, I don't even know which person. I can make one for all my daughters, my daughter-in-law, my mom, my niece. So I have plenty of yarn. I just don't know who's going to get which one yet.
Right.
But this is the one for this lovely lady. And I did buy this pom-pom for it. I was really feeling monochromatic, but I couldn't really. There was a pink one. This is the pink one. So you guys can tell me which one. The thing is, this pink is a little brighter, and the tips of it are red. You can't really tell. But I think I like this one better.
This has a tiny bit of fuchsia right there.
It does. There's a little fuchsia in it.
Oh, there's a little bit more. It has a little bit of red in it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
just depends on if you want.
So it's really... I'm really happy I did this. That was a really quick finished object.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really fun. But yeah, so that's that. Is that all I wanted to say about it? Yeah, so thank you for inspiring me.
Yeah.
To make one and to buy lots of yarn.
I know.
But it's not for me. It's for other people. That's their Christmas gift. It's less than one. This was one ball of yarn, or one, what is it? They come in cakes, I guess? No, hanks. So I have all this left.
So you can make some cool stripy scarf.
I could.
That'd be amazing.
Fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, yesterday I was about to walk out the door. I was just about to make hot chocolate to bring with me to our shoot. And I looked down at the floor, and we have a new puppy named Teddy. And I see something orange on the floor, and he's got it in his mouth. And, my brain is just thinking, what is this? And before I could get down there, he swallowed it. And so we emergency trip to the vet, and we think he's okay.
What was it? Did you say what it was yet?
Yep, it was a cocoa knits. What are these called? Stitch keepers, needle stoppers?
Yeah,
needle stoppers.
Something like that.
And it was on my needles. I have no idea. And my knitting bag was on the kitchen counter. I have no idea how it ended up on the floor. So, there's a lot of doggy mom guilt. And anyway, I felt awful. So I had to call Kim and say, I'm at the vet.
Yeah.
And so you bought lots of yarn.
Yeah, don't go to a yarn shop without other plans, I guess. Well,
Right.
Yeah, it was funny. It was really funny. Normally, I would think about it a little bit more. I was thinking, maybe later this week I'll go. But here I was with all this time on my hands.
Well, and they have such a great selection of bulky yarn, too, because it's that time of year. So
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So fun. So you had other...
So yeah, I finished a cardigan for my granddaughter.
Nice.
So funny thing, I made her a cardigan a couple of years ago. Probably, when did I say I started knitting? 2018. So I made her the size 18 month.
Wow.
To 24 month size. And she was probably 2 at the time. And she has worn it. And she's 4 and a half now. And she has worn it for a couple of years. And so my daughter finally said, hey, we need a new pink cardigan. So I had her go pick out yarn. And I used the Kama Rose Snefnug, which is one of my favorite yarns.
Yes.
And I made the Novice Cardigan Mini Chunky Edition by Petite Knit. And there aren't a lot of projects on Ravelry. And I looked at the projects, and I saw that it's a circular yoke, and I could see where all the increases were, and that kind of bothered me. I felt like the gauge was really loose, and that kind of bothered me. And I didn't love the collar, the neckline. So you cast on and do the ribbing. So you don't wait until the cardigan's finished and then pick up stitches around the collar. You actually start with the collar. So I hemmed and hawed, looked at some other patterns, and just decided to just make some changes. So I cast on, and I used just the regular long tail cast on because I wanted that cast on to be pretty snug. I didn't want the ribbing to be really stretched out. In hindsight, if I do it again, I'll probably use a German twisted cast on because it could have, the neck is tiny, itty bitty. Now she's itty bitty. So she's tall, but she's still like the same size as my 2-year-old grandson in the chest area. So anyway, I made this size 4 to 5, but I was aiming for a size 2 to 3. So I actually went down from, I think it suggests a US size 10, and I went down to an 8. So I have it's a denser fabric because in Texas, she's wearing this as a jacket.
Right.
So I wanted something a little bit heavier. So I wanted denser gauge, and then I didn't love the increases, and they were all make one lefts. So I decided to do, and I thought they were left lifted increases. Anyway, I was wrong. They are lifted right increases. So you get to where you want to make the increase, and instead of picking up the bar, you pick up the leg of the stitch below the stitch that's on the needle.
The mother stitch that Arne and Carlos would say. Yes.
So I pick up the mother stitch and knit through that to make my increase. And they're almost invisible. So it's seamless. There are no holes where the increases are. And I would definitely do that again. So I think that's it.
Yeah, it was
so
adorable.
Great, easy pattern. It probably took me a week, I want to say, to make.
It's so cute. And buttons. What buttons did you use?
I bought these pretty shell flower-shaped buttons here at Pick Up Every Stitch.
It's so cute.
And it fits perfectly. We have a little picture of Eleanor holding Max's hand, and we're in Target. And she's wearing...
from the back.
Yeah, from the back, and she's wearing the cardigan. And I didn't realize it when I looked at the picture, but I'm walking between them.
Ahead of them.
Between. Yeah. So
that's a cute picture.
And I have my classic ribbed beanie on, my Pearl Soho classic ribbed beanie. So anyway.
It's a really cute picture.
Yeah. So that was another gift knit.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are my 2 finished objects.
Nice. Well, I have another quick finished object.
Okay.
So in Vlogmas, I have been posting videos of the Christmas concerts I've been singing in, and once again, you're seeing this in January, but I still have one more Christmas concert to sing in, and we were chosen. Jessica Lynn is a country singer, and she is from a town near us, and so every Christmas she comes back and does a big Christmas concert here in a big theater, and she invites local dance studios and different performers to come and perform with her. And so one of the things she does to give her band a song off during the show is, and our group did this once before. I did not sing with them because I had a conflict, but we were asked to come back again, my a cappella group. And so we're kind of her band, right? We sing backup with her, with no instruments. So we're singing Let It Snow, and the idea is that we're supposed to come in from the back of the house as if supposedly there's going to be like a knock, 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 and she's going to be on stage saying, hello, who's there? I don't know. Knock, 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 who's there?
Like carolers?
Kind of. But we're supposed to then come in as if we're coming in out of the bad weather, and we're going to sing Let It Snow. And so we're supposed to look like we're coming in, like off the, like we're wearing outdoor wear, except we're going to be on a stage with stage lighting. It's going to be hot. So, modified outdoor wear. So anyway, I might wear this red sweater, which Karen just finished knitting. I did try it on. It's gorgeous. But a lot of people are wearing red, so I thought maybe I want to be contrasty, but it's gorgeous. What's this called? Do we know?
Dusking.
Dusking? By who? I don't know.
I think it's in their Instagram.
It's in their Instagram. But anyway, it's really interesting because it's knit with 4 strands of mohair, and then you let one go, and 3 strands, and 2 strands, and 1 strand. So the bottom is just so delicate.
So
it's gorgeous.
It's like you're the Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Don't listen to those ladies behind the curtain. But anyway, so
pretty.
In case I don't wear that, I also am really wanting to wear my Sabella, the striped sweater. And I did buy a green vest. Everybody in the group, like not everybody, a lot of people went on Amazon and bought the exact same red vest. Like outerwear. So it's going to look silly if everybody's wearing the same thing. That's why I'm like hesitating on wearing red. So if I wear that, I bought a green like outerwear vest. And I thought, I want to wear a red scarf then if I wear that. And I have an old red scarf from like the Gap from 20 years ago. And I took it out and I thought, why would I wear a knit scarf from the Gap when I could just knit one really fast. I kid you not.
How fast is really fast?
I kid you not.
Did you finish it?
I did. Yes, I got some red mohair from Pick Up Every Stitch, and I realized I had some red John Arbin knit by numbers at home, and I held them together. I didn't use a pattern, and here it is.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't want it to be big and bulky.
Right.
Because it's going to be on
it's
stage.
It's more of a token scarf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cute.
But it could make me a little warm.
Yeah.
If I needed to. And so I can just go like this, and it won't be wrapped around my neck 20 times. And so I started it on Sunday, and I finished it, I put the fringe on today. It's Wednesday. So
did you slip the stitch?
I did. I
I
cast on 20 stitches. I slipped the first stitch purlwise with the yarn in
back
front. Wait. Facing me. Yarn in front. And then I just knit, purl all the way across and knit the last stitch. And then when you turn it, you do the exact same thing because it's an even number, right? So slip the first stitch purlwise with the yarn in front. Knit, purl all the way across. Did that all the way to the end. And
it's so cute.
Just did some little fringies.
Yeah.
It's so squishy.
Perfect.
Isn't it squishy?
Yeah,
it's so lightweight.
Right.
So that's my other kind of very unplanned finished object.
Nice. Look at you.
Look at me.
No pattern.
No. So this is my John Arbin, and I had bought this for Arnie and Carlos ornaments. It's okay.
Right.
It's just and then the mohair is long mohair Luxe, and it just matched perfectly, and I love it.
Yay.
So those are my two finished objects.
Cute.
And actually, this was supposed to be my favorite thing, so I just went out of order. So that's my favorite thing too. So there you go.
Well, I have two favorite things, so.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
All right, so what's next? Whips.
Whips.
Right?
Yep.
Go for it.
First? Oh, yeah. So, I didn't even bring my Zoria because I have not picked it up since the last episode. It's not something that I could bring traveling, and I just haven't had the brain space to pick it up. So, chances are it will not be worn at Christmas, but we'll see. But I am
Maybe
loving.
You can borrow Karen's.
I know.
No, she's going to wear it.
Oh my goodness, I know. If she weren't wearing it, I'd be wearing it. So this is my whip, and I cast this on before I went to Texas. This is my muscle bra. We're having this big
debate over how to say it.
Yes. So it's funny because we have a town here called Pittsburgh, and it's spelled Burgh, and we call it. No one calls it Pittsburgh or Pittsburgh. So, but in Scotland, they do say Edinburgh and Musselburgh. So, yes. So this is, I guess, named after one of the towns in Scotland. So, very popular pattern on Ravelry. There's like 11,000 projects. People just love these and make lots and lots of them. So we actually went to Stars Hollow Yarn, which is in Washington, Connecticut. And we met the knitting posse there.
That seems like so long ago. Was it before Thanksgiving or after?
The 19th. It was November 19th, so it was before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So,
but after we filmed episode 13, right?
Yeah, and you had never been there.
I had never been there.
Yeah, so it's just it's in an old
Girls' Day Out.
Yeah, it's in an old Victorian house, I guess, 2 stories. And we met Lisa, the owner, and we just had a great time. So they had this yarn, and this is Woolfolk. This is Woolfolk Snow, and this is Woolfolk Tinned. And they had a whole wall of this, and it just came in gorgeous colors. And this was definitely what I would consider splurge yarn. This is 100% merino, fingering weight, and I just thought this would make a beautiful hat for my daughter, Emily, who is, these are her colors. So I decided to make a two-tone, a reversible two-tone hat. But the pattern is great because it's really a blank canvas for whatever you want to do. Once you've made the increases, you can do any kind of striping or pattern or whatever you want to do. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying knitting on that. I actually watched a video to do the pinhole cast on.
Because it starts, obviously, it starts with one end.
And I attempted to cast this on with some other yarn on DPNs and abandoned that. quickly. So I did magic loop until I got to a point where I could put it on these 16-inch circulars. And I am knitting this on a size 3. So the cool thing about this pattern is, you choose your yarn, you choose the needles you want, and, to get the fabric that you want. And then she... you knit about an inch of the hat, and then you determine your gauge, and then you look at the chart that is included in the pattern, and then she tells you how many increases to work.
Wow.
So you can make it out of any weight yarn, any size needle, you just cast on.
So the beginning of the hat is your gauge swatch, and then you just keep knitting based on that gauge that you got. That is so cool.
And these, you can tell where the increases are. And, making the increases, it was a little fiddly, and I couldn't wait to get it on 16-inch circulars, but you can tell it's a lot of stockinette. And I've been working on this since before Texas. So yeah, it's been a great, if you want to just knit around and around, it's a fantastic pattern. So the video I watched, though, was by Purl Together on YouTube, and it was great. And I have heard from other people that it took them a while to find this great tutorial. So anyway, I really appreciated being able to watch that. I was worried. I did read some of the comments on Ravelry about this yarn, and some people said it pilled horribly. But I have to say, this has been shoved in a knitting bag, pulled out multiple times. It's been petted, many times because I just...
You love to pet it while you're knitting?
I do. This yarn is
so
just
soft.
gorgeous.
Was that the yarn we saw when we were there? We saw a sweater knit in it?
And Kate from the Knitting Posse ended up buying yarn for
a sweater's quantity. I would have if they had the color. I had a sweater's quantity of the color I wanted, but they didn't have it.
And they just have the most beautiful, soft, muted palette.
It feels like cashmere.
It does. It definitely feels like cashmere. So yeah,
so beautiful.
This is exciting. So I'm hoping to have this done for Christmas. So this is all I've been knitting on, and with the new puppy, that's about all I have time to knit on. So, yeah. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So did I say that this is a pattern by Isolde Teague?
I don't know, but now you did.
Yeah, who's a Scottish woman. So yeah, and of course, in true Jonna fashion, I have not counted the number of rows I've knitted. I just knit to 12 inches. And it's funny, even though this yarn is supposedly the same weight, it feels a little bit thicker on my needles. Oh. So I may measure it and I may count rows to be determined. But I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Yeah. And I have thought about putting a purl row here so it made like a hard
some people do that, right?
Fold edge, but I don't know. I wanted it to be this soft rolled edge. And I think she'll be able to wear it rolled up over her ears if she wants, or it'll be just a really slouchy beanie.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Great. So fun. So, my whips are really boring. This is my, and I'm in the middle of a row, but this is my Vaike Shawl
They're not
inspired.
boring. You've been working on them a long time.
Yeah. Baby blanket. And I'm plowing through. A lot of people have said, like, isn't that hard not casting something on? And for me, it's not. I mean, it is kind of, because there's a certain point in a project, usually when I'm 2/3 finished, when I tell my husband, oh, I'm so sick of knitting this. But I really want the object, and I really usually don't put it down, and I just finish. I force myself to finish it. And then I'm so happy I did. So this is my Vaike inspired, Isabell Kraemer designed a Vaike shawl. Half of it is stockinette and half of it is these, I guess I would call them cables, this texture. And I just fell in love with it. And so I decided to make a baby blanket, which I've said already in previous videos, so I'm not going to talk about it. And the yarn is Lang Yarns Aura, A-U-R-A. And it is, wait, I have it written down here somewhere. No, I don't. It's mostly cotton and then a little bit of nylon, so it's completely washable. The baby that's getting this, I don't know the family. It's my brother's friend's grandchild. And so I don't know if, I can't, tell them how to take care of, know, wool. Right. So I just figured, and a baby, just make it as easy as possible. So it's cotton and nylon. But that's fun. I just knit it when I can. And
you probably have the pattern memorized. So
totally memorized. And I make mistakes all the time, but it's very easy to modify. To go, I can just, fix it in the next row. It's pretty easy to realize. That's one good thing about pattern patterns is you realize, you know, in 6 stitches, if there's not a slip stitch, I must have messed something up, so I can realize it pretty quickly. But yeah, so that's that.
Yeah.
Do you have any more whips?
I don't.
Oh.
But I'm just going to throw out one of my favorite things because this is great TV knitting. And I have been binge watching this show called Dream Home Makeover on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
And it sounds like a contest kind of show, but it's not. It's this lovely young couple, Shay and Sid McGee. They have their own design company, but they just remodel homes, and they built their own home. It's based in Utah, and the scenery is just gorgeous, and they're funny, and the design is just beautiful. And I don't feel like I'm good at interior design.
Me either.
So it's super inspirational, and yeah. So
what's their style? Do they have a style of interior design? Farmhouse, modern, or do they do everything different?
So basically, the palette. She's one of those paint everything white people, and then very neutral schemes, and sort of very not very stylized furniture either. So you're not going to look at it and say, oh, that's very contemporary, or that's very mid-century modern, or that's very traditional. But then she'll throw in like little pops of color, like blue, so a blue throw, and then she puts little bits of blue in every room. So it looks very cohesive. It's very, I like all the natural fibers and, you know, wood tones and some greenery, some plants and stuff. It's just very clean, very open, light and bright aesthetic. And anyway, I've been binge watching that. So that's one of my favorite things that my daughter recommended. So she went to school for interior design about halfway through because she had a boyfriend who was doing architecture. And she changed her major to marketing because she was like so fed up with all these design projects. But in her heart of hearts, she's a designer. So she's the one who inspired me to watch that. So anyway, you need some good binge-worthy TV.
Sounds good.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. Fun. So,
what else
I only have one other work in progress, which everybody knows what it is. And I did bring it out of the house. I actually threw it in this bag so that
You brought it out of the house, like you said.
I did.
It's a wayward pet. You know?
It is.
It's a pet with no manners.
This is my Amina, which I've spoken about, and it's from Amy Gilles' knitwear collection curated by Amy Gilles, worsted. And I'm doing the Amina sweater by Sylvia Watts Cherry. I've already done the back. The back is just brown. I've talked about this before. The reason I brought it today to show you is because I had been debating in episode 13 if I should... When I started it, this is where I am. I hadn't done intarsia maybe once in my life, 30-something years ago. And so I cut a separate yarn for each stripe. Each color change had a separate yarn, except for this cable that was all the way up the entire sweater. Every single piece had a different yarn. And I had been asking, after I was done with 4 sections here at the shop, and then also just you guys, if I switch now, because now I understand the pattern, I understand, like, for instance, this gray stripe, every 2 stripes, it goes all the way up the sweater.
Right.
Now, the lighter color does not. It's only 3 stripes, and the brown does not. So I can't carry those up. I can carry them, though. I was doing each stripe. So I can carry the brown up those, I can carry them up 3 stripes, and so it's just 1 yarn instead of 3. Or in this case, 1 yarn instead of a lot. So I decided to be brave. And because my question was, if I switch the way I do it now, will you be able to notice it on the front? And part of me at this point is like, I don't care. And I wasn't minding weaving in the ends. I weave as I go. So, okay, it looks like a mess. Let me move all this stuff. But I weave as I go. So there's all these ends. And once I block it, I'll cut them shorter. And I'm sure they're going to start felting in. It's made with Corey worsted. But I thought how nice it would be to not have to weave in so many ends. So I decided to be brave, and I decided to cut long yarns and run them up. So for instance, one side of the diamond, The other side always has to be a separate yarn. But one side will go up, and then in between, when there's no brown, I'll just carry it up, and then I'll keep going all the way up. So I calculated how much I'll need, and so here it is. And my husband saw it the other day when I was working on it, and I put it in a Vlogmas. And these are my long yarns.
Oh, gosh.
Like, look. Oh, I don't even know if that's going to be in the camera. Look.
Oh, gosh.
These are my yarns. And it looks like a mess, but it isn't. I only have, what are these things called?
Bobbins?
Bobbins for the cable section from the beginning, because those were already really long. But the rest of it, I had asked Sylvia Watch Cherry and other, I took an Intarsia class recently with Vogue Knitting Live, and it looks like a knot, but when you need this yarn, if you just gently pull it, well, that wasn't a long one. Let me find a long one. Okay, this one. This is one of the long ones. If I pull it, it looks like it's a knot, but look, it just pulls right out. And so that takes, I can't just knit her along really quickly, but that's going to be much quicker. See, I'm still going. Right. And then if it feels like it's in a knot, I just like loosen it up a little bit, and then it just pulls out. Now it's not going to do it. But it does. It just pulls right out. Here it comes. Where is it? See how long that is? It's been in and out of my bag a few times, so that's why it's a little tangly. But let's see. Let's see here. Oh, there. See?
Nice.
So you wouldn't think that would happen, but if you do it every single time you need that yarn, it easily pulls out and then never really gets tangled. So that's that. I have now completed 1, 2, 3, 4 and almost a half. And I think it's going to be 6 repeats, so I have 1.5 left before I start doing neck shaping.
Wow.
And then there's really only one or a partial one to get to the shoulders. So if I plow through this, but now I bought a lot of hat yarn. But if I plow through this, I can really, finish it.
Yeah.
And I know people maybe you're not waiting. I know you voted for me to knit the Here Comes the Sun. But I really need to get back to my monogamous knitting, because I just can't. I want to wear this so badly in the winter. I don't want to, let it.
Want to finish it in April.
Right.
Right.
So I am going to finish this, and I'm going to finish the baby blanket, and then I will cast on Here Comes the Sun. But
I love the variation in the yarn.
Yes.
This is the Corey worsted. It's beautiful.
And this is the Amy Gilles colorway, the original that Sylvia Watch Cherry. It's more pastel-y. And I just love this earth tones. I don't own anything that looks like this.
No.
So I'm really excited. So that's my Amina. And I really love knitting it. You might be surprised. I even think now I have the pattern memorized enough that I could even knit it, like take it out of the house and knit it.
That's crazy.
And especially now with all the longer yarns and everything, it's just so fun. It's just so fun. And I've mentioned this before, and people do want me to do a whole little mini-sode about how I use my knitter's planner, and I'm sorry I haven't. I'll try to put it together. For Christmas I asked for like a tutorial setup, like a camera setup for tutorials from my husband.
I have that articulating arm that I bought.
You do? Can you send me a link of which one you bought?
But we definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
And people have asked about good notes and other things.
So we can each, now that we've done Vlogmas and done these separate things, I think we kind of have a better idea of how we always still do 2 videos per month, the episode and a mini-sode, and then maybe the other Fridays we can do
a tutorial or a vlog.
Yeah, like a little vloggy thing from each of us individually.
We love Vlogmas so much. Yes. We were trying to figure out how to incorporate it into our...
Right, not daily, obviously.
No, our regular schedule. So.
But adding a few extra Fridays of short videos. But anyway, so I do draw out the chart, and it helps me memorize. It helps me learn. It helps me see all the differences, the different things in it. And so I will do, I promise. And don't forget, we are affiliates for...
Knitter's Planner.
Knitter's Planner.
I actually can't wait to start using mine.
Yeah.
I have to say. Yeah.
It'll be really
but
fun.
More in a kind of journal, diary sort of way.
And it'll probably change, honestly.
Yeah.
I've gone in and out of using it in different ways, but I love my Knitter's Planner. So if you want to buy one, we won't, by the time this airs, we won't have a discount code at that point. But if you want to buy one, we do have an affiliate link. You don't have to use it, but if you do use it, we do get a little bit of a commission for it. So that helps support the channel. Yeah. But so that's it for my whips.
Cool.
Right? Is that it? That's it. Okay.
So I talked a little bit about my acquisitions because I talked about my muscle bra hat. But when I was in Dallas, I visited a new yarn shop. It had only been open 3 weeks, called Knit Dallas, and it was in East Dallas, off Mockingbird Lane, and we did a little Vlogmas on it. My husband and I drove out there, and I was so excited. It was just a beautiful store. I knew that they carried Mayak because Paula had been there and said that it was beautiful. But I met Meredith, who is the owner, and she's worked there every single day by herself. And she was just lovely. The shop was gorgeous. Gorgeous. Very well organized and very well lit. It's a big space. They had a lot of, just a lot of really cool, very high-end, highly curated yarn. And, you know, she did have she had the Sanus garn. So, you know, she had all price points, but I have to say it was definitely a gorgeous yarn shop. Yeah. So I asked her what she was most excited about, and she immediately took me to this whole wall of plied yarn.
How do you spell it?
Plied, P-L-I-E-D, like plied. So all of it is 2 colors plied, and some of it is super high contrast, and some of it is more muted. And I just stood in front of that wall, and I kind of wanted to buy Kim some yarn for Christmas, but I just was overwhelmed, and I could not make up my mind. And there were way more bright colors than muted colors, but I chose this. It's called the Bunk, and it's like a brown and a really pretty, like Dutch blue.
Blue is gorgeous.
Plied together.
May I touch it, please?
Yeah, and so this is called Pennsylvania Avenue. It's 100% wool. 108 yards. So this was, I have to say, a bit of a splurge. So I think I'm going to make a cowl out of this. I was thinking hat, but I have since seen some cowls. And this is spun in New Hampshire, hand-dyed in Baltimore. And I believe, I read the little blurb on their website, and the woman who started the yarn company actually spun and plied the yarn by hand herself. Wow. So I think that might have something to do with the price, because this was $31 for 100 yards. So it was a bit of a splurge, but that's why I'm making something
made
small.
By a skilled artisan. That's amazing.
Yes. And
love it.
My other favorite thing actually is the DRK Everyday sweater by Andrea Mowry. And they had a sample of that sweater knit in this. It was beautiful. So yeah, I picked that up, and it's something unusual and unique, and I hadn't seen it anywhere else. And I did buy one other thing, and the label fell off, but this is Goth Farm yarn, and this is made in Texas. I want to say in Cypress, Texas. And they source yarn or wool from all over the country, rare and heritage breeds. This is all minimally processed. Obviously, it's not superwash. It's undyed. And it's really cool because the shade is called Alabaster. I don't know if the shade is called Alabaster or the yarn itself is called Alabaster, but it's a sport weight. And this, I mean, it's not red, but you can see there's little red hairs in here. So,
yes, I was confused when you said that. You're right.
Yeah, so this is California red sheep wool, and it's got some red mohair in it also. Red mohair from Angora goats. And I just thought it was really unique and interesting, and something that, you know, came from Texas. So there's a little bit of vegetable matter in it. I have half of mine, though, to get some more to make the DRK Everyday sweater.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's one of my favorite things. And it's a top-down sport weight sweater. It's the circular yoke. And let's see. Came in 9 sizes from a finished bust of 34 to 66. And one thing I liked about the pattern page when I looked on Ravelry is at the bottom you can click on a PDF that has some yarn substitution ideas. So, you know, all price ranges, which led me to make a note to remember to tell you that there is a great website called YarnSub, yarnsub.com. Have you ever used that?
Nope.
So it's a very, very simple website to use. And if you want to knit something and the yarn it calls for is maybe not in your budget, put that yarn into if you go to the splash page, there's a search bar, type in the name of the yarn, and it will cultivate this list.
The name of the yarn that is suggested.
Right. This is suggested that maybe is
can't get,
not in your
it's-
budget. You can't get. Maybe you're allergic to mohair or something like that. But it's a fantastic website, and it compares, it like calculates and compares all the yarns, and then spits out a bunch of suggestions, starting at the top with the yarn that's most like the one you want to substitute. Now, they take into account the weight of the yarn, the texture of the yarn, the fiber, and the gauge. And it's just a fantastic website. And you can filter it by, suppose you're vegan and you don't want to use any animal products, so you want only plant-based yarn, that's going to kind of give you the same fabric. And it will give you a little caveat saying, well, this yarn is plied differently. It's a single ply. Or this yarn, is plant-based, so it's going to have a little bit more, of these qualities.
Right.
So anyway, fantastic website, yarnsub.com. I use it all the time.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's all I want to talk
I
about.
sub yarn by coming in to pick up every stitch and saying, help!
So I just wanted to say thank you to Meredith. I spent a lot of time just staring at all the beautiful yarn. And like I told Kim, I usually stand there and sweat and then don't make any decisions and leave.
But I'm proud of you. You did make a decision.
I did. I made a couple decisions. And I also met one of her lovely customers named Wendy. So I just want to say hi, Wendy. She has a really nice sofa and coffee table and seating area. It's a really relaxed place to just go and hang out.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
If my husband hadn't been with me, I would have
sat down.
Yeah,
and
someone made a funny comment like, "How do you not spend tons of money and your whole day there?" I was like, "Bring your husband," and then you have he was next door having a margarita and guacamole.
Right.
Yeah. So I drove home, but yeah. Anyway, so give me an hour.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was fun. So
yeah,
thank you for having me.
It looked amazing.
Yeah.
So I did buy something at Altman's Needle Arts, which, as I said, is going to be North Fork Fiber Arts. I bought this cool bag. I think it's so cool. Because you know why? I didn't have a smaller bag, and I wanted to bring a small knit project with me when we were out and about, and I literally could put it on and put the yarn in and have it out, and I could knit while I was walking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really fun. It's a cute little bag. The bag is from, in Greenport, the Weathered, is that what it was? The Weathered Barn. I think that's what it was called. But yeah. So.
And Meredith had a great selection at Knit Dallas.
Oh, bags. People asked on the Vlogmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they asked what brand the bags were.
Yeah.
I mean, that's here. The bags are amazing.
Right.
So, I went into Altman's Needle Arts, and this was my souvenir yarn purchase. And she's in the process. I think originally it was the woman who owned it was into kind of more like embroidery and things like that. So she's, again, rebranding and switching things over. But I think that they had a Felix sweater hanging there. And I've always wanted to make
the cardigan?
Yes, because I want more cardigans. And so I said, what yarn would you suggest? And they suggested this. So I got Barocco Mercado. And it's 100%
really, really pretty blue.
Peruvian Highland wool. And they had enough. I think I had picked out a different color, but they didn't have enough hanks. So I got that, and they're not all with me. And then I thought, why don't I just pick out buttons right away? And I think it called for a tiny bit smaller button, but knit buttonholes are flexible. And so I bought these.
Oh, pretty. Aren't
they gorgeous?
Yeah. Pretty.
Don't you love them? Yeah. So, I have a picture of all this stuff. I think I took the pictures at Soundview Inn.
Oh, nice.
While the wind was blowing and everything was blowing away. It was really funny.
A really pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
Color. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So cool. So I had fun at Altman's Needle Arts, and it was really nice to meet Karen and Mary Alice. Yes, it was really fun. So thank you so much for just being so sweet. And Maureen, thank you for coming in and meeting me. That was really, really fun. So I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Done with acquisitions, except for the secret thing that I bought at Long Island Yarn and Farm. Maybe we'll see it someday. So I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We have over 12,000 subscribers. Yeah, so we're really, I know we say it all the time, but we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
We weren't sure we'd be here after episode 1, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
Anyway. And I think Vlogmas has been fun because you've gotten to know us a little bit better. And so we've gotten to know you a little bit better. So, yeah.
Really fun.
Yeah. So we'll say the spiel, like and subscribe and share. And we do have members of our channel. So if you'd like to become a member, you can just click on the membership tab. And that doesn't like automatically make you a member. You can just watch a little video and then think about it. And, yeah.
Great.
Or is it a join button?
Join button.
I think it's a join button.
But the join button just gives you information. It doesn't mean you're automatically joining.
Right. It looks scary. It's red and it says joins. It looks a little scary.
You should say more info.
It should.
But anyway.
More info about joining. So is that all I want to say?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Take one, actually.
I know, right? Okay. And after like half an hour of sweating and indecision, I just walk out of the store. That's usually how things go for me.
Whisper.
We're rolling.
Okay, so we're going to get ready to start. Everybody's phone silenced. I have Worcestershire sauce on my grocery list.
He's just there for the decor. Like, he's just there to smile and make bad jokes and, like, screwing a light bulb here and there.
Funny. Pearl seeing friends walking by.